Great to be here. I'm Antti Nivala, founder and CEO of mFiles. mFiles is a knowledge work automation platform, and we help knowledge workers to work smarter. So we help knowledge workers across industries to eliminate information chaos, to improve process efficiency, and to reduce business risk. And we do that by automating aspects of knowledge work. And I want to use this opportunity to let's say, just talk a little bit on the high level of how we see the kind of the industry from our point of view, and hopefully it can help you in for instance, to elevate the role of knowledge management and what you do in your organizations, because I think there's a new opportunity for that, or a great time for us to do that. There's a Harvard Business Review article from the year 2013. I think it's titled "Make Time for Work That Matters," and it's it's an article where the authors state that according to their observations, as much as 41% of the work that knowledge workers do, their allocated work hours, is actually for something that doesn't really produce any long-term value or any true long-term value for the organization. So kind of like, if you put it in plain terms, it's wasted time. It's not creating real value. I find it actually relatively easy to believe, because if I think of my own work days, unfortunately there's a lot in those work days which is not directly producing value. It's kind of like it's the mandatory busy work that we have to do in order to get our kind of like real essence of our work done. But we've kind of like just grown to just accept that there's a lot of this kind of like additional stuff we just have to do. While we of course know that knowledge workers, those persons with specific expertise and skills, they haven't been hired into the companies to you know, file or save documents, file documents, or tag them. It's important, but the outcome is important. Like, you know, tagging is important, and I by the way, I love tagging and metadata, because our platform, like we say, it's a metadata-driven platform, so it's super important to me. But I have to admit that the act of tagging something in itself is not really valuable. Like, if we could automate that, we should absolutely automate that, because what matters is the ability to then use those tags to find knowledge and information later on. So if we take an honest look at the state of knowledge work in organizations, or how knowledge workers' days are, it's actually a pretty pathetic picture, and we are very far from the ideal world where knowledge workers would spend at least close to 100% of their time in the true value creating work that only they can do, which they basically could not delegate to somebody else who doesn't have the expertise. But I think that right now there's a kind of a unique moment or unique opportunity to do something about this. It's kind of like the problem has been there for a long time. Maybe the solutions, or many of them, have been around too, but somehow we've almost like given up the effort to do enough about it. But the opportunity is created by generative AI, in my opinion, but I'm not actually here to talk about it in the sense of, okay, so generative AI will do all of that work for us. For me, what I've seen from generative AI and everything that we just saw, for instance, in the first part of the presentation, kind of like those, the super exciting new things that the LLMs can do for us. At least for me, it's demonstrated the ability of like kind of like the bar is so much higher than I used to believe in what we can and will be able to eventually automate in knowledge work. I think my bar was like too low, like thinking that things like, you know, related to like searching or saving information or tagging or working in processes or document generation, that there would be just something that's like just too difficult for computers to automate. But we've now seen the light of what will be possible, and I think we should use the opportunity to finally then take also these more repetitive, actually much simpler tasks that we have not yet automated, and really start putting effort to helping knowledge workers make their work more meaningful. And that's why we now talk about knowledge work automation as a kind of an overarching concept, which in my mind is like, it includes a lot of the things that we, probably most of you have been doing for a long time. Like for me, it started in document management, maybe it has become like information management and knowledge management. There's workflow automation and business process automation, there's document automation, all kinds of things. But I think it makes sense to a little bit like elevate the discussion to a higher level. And I believe that this approach of really starting to promote that the ideal objective that we should all work towards is to automate all aspects of knowledge work that can ever be automated. Because we'll never really get there. It's like peeling the onion, that kind of like we will get closer and closer to the core of the true value creating knowledge work. But in this case, I don't think we never really get into there, but we will like one layer by one layer, we will reveal and get closer to the true value. And I think we've been like too accepting until today about like just kind of like stopping too early in terms of what we require from automation and what we require from technology to help the knowledge workers. We have now talked about knowledge work automation in the market with a lot of enterprises, with the C-level, and it really resonates well. It's kind of like it helps elevate also a lot of what you have been doing all day long, like these foundational things. It helps to elevate it into a new meaning, because we should not let generative AI kind of like steal the stage and like become all of it, and like because the mistake we could make, I mean, we who work in knowledge management or information management would kind of like somehow fight against generative AI or kind of like have the point of view of it will not be able to do this, it will not be able to do that. And that's a battle that we would lose. But the opportunity there is to embrace those possibilities, understand that the bar for what can be automated is actually super high, but there will be a lot of steps to actually get there. And I think this, because this is like everybody at the C-level understands the huge opportunity there is if knowledge workers can be more productive, because like many companies, knowledge workers are beginning to be the kind of the majority of the workforce, and anything you could do to make them more productive will have a huge impact. And it's been a difficult area. It's like almost like how can you can't even touch like how can you make knowledge workers more productive? It's because things are happening in their heads. So how can you make them more productive? But in reality, there are so many ways we can make them more productive, even using technology that has nothing to do with generative AI. There was a McKinsey article a couple of years ago where they claimed that 45% of things that employees are paid to do could be automated with technology that's available already today. I think it's probably true, and generative AI will only raise the bar, and it's our opportunity and up to us to to use this opportunity to kind of like elevate our role in the organizations of like how we can be a positive impact for the organization by automating aspects of knowledge work. And that will take us to the discussions of, for instance, what kind of a foundation will we need to get the best out of generative AI? We will need a great foundation for feeding our data into the models, for instance, like George said, that the models will need our data or your data, and it will need high quality data. So it will need curated, properly tagged, classified data to give the best results. And that kind of like takes us back then to the basics of knowledge management and the importance of a professional approach to working with knowledge. And I think that kind of like brings us into the discussion, and we are part of the solution and not somehow like somebody who will be made obsolete by the new technology, because that is the risk that we sit aside and yeah, after some time I'm sure people would notice that it's not that simple, it doesn't happen that way, but let's not let that happen. Let's be part of that positive movement of using this opportunity. Yeah, we at mFiles want to do our part in that, so we want to help knowledge workers to work smarter. And I think that this group that is here in this event is really in the best position to be that kind of a positive force in driving forward knowledge work automation and knowledge worker productivity. So yeah, that was my short talk today. I will move into the expo areas. I hope many of you, and if you can visit us at our booth 413, would be happy to hear your comments and kind of continue the conversation. Thank you.